Good morning. Chloe and I, oh, there comes the train, real quick. Chloe and I are going to Seoul for a day trip to get her a visa to go to US. In this video, Chloe and I want to share our experience in trying to get her a B1, B2 US travel visa and share all the experiences that we wish we had when we first started. So stick around to the end of the video to get all our advice and tips so that you can avoid all the problems and issues that we ran into. Now back to the video. Hey guys, so now we're at the US Embassy. Chloe's about to go in to do her visa interview. 자기 어떻게 기분?
조금 긴장도 되고 재밌을 것 같기도 하고 그래요. 아마 가봐야 알 것 같아.
그래서 가자.
응.
Hey guys, so couldn't film us trying to get into the embassy because no cameras allowed. I had to turn off our cell phones and everything. When we got up and it was our turn to check in, they let Chloe in, but they said, no, not you. She goes by herself. So I'm out here waiting for Chloe now. I bet she's really nervous because before we came here, she was on the phone with her friend who told her about her green card interview, and they allowed family with her, at least sitting nearby. So Chloe felt a lot better after hearing that. And now I'm not allowed to go in. So I have to wait out here. She'll be fine. I'm not worried. She's just nervous. So the US Embassy is actually located in the heart of Seoul. It's very inconspicuous. It's just this gray building with the palace in the background and the statue of the emperor that invented the Korean alphabet. You probably walk by it every time you come through here, you just never pay attention to it. Just want to add, like, there's a lot of security around the embassy, which is, you know, understandable. But the funny thing is, every time I bring out my camera, like, a cop always walks by and just stands next to me to see what I'm doing. And I'm just like, I mean, this is a kind of a tourist spot, but I don't know. While we're waiting for Chloe to come out, I found this really cute cafe. I'll show you around. I'm gonna stay here, probably it's gonna be a while until she comes out. I'm guessing an hour. So, Chloe, how did it go? 어때? 오케이?
오케이.
어.
올 거야.
하이파이.
이제 올 거야.
그래서 어떻게? 너 무두부두했어?
아니야. 한국어 통역해주는 사람이 있었어.
다행이다.
어.
나 커피숍 했어.
제일 처음에 이제 자기
응.
나 따라왔는데 가라 그랬잖아. 그래서 내 혼자 이제 들어갔지. 들어가서 핸드폰 맡기고 이제 가방이랑 이제 메고 이렇게 들어갔는데 날짜 시간 맞는지 확인하는 사람 먼저 하고 그거 하고 또 줄 서가지고 이제 기다려가지고 드디어 그 줄에서 그 사람이 이제 확인하는 거야. 이제 사진을 달라고 하는 거야. 사진. 사진 안 가져왔는데 했어. 근데 내가 아까 줄 서면서 어떤 사람은 사진 안 가져와 사진 뭐 얘기를 하더라고. 그래서 너 사진 찍으러 갔다 와 하면서 나 들을 수 있었어. 그 사람은 그래서 사진 찍으러 가야 됐어. 그래서 나도 혹시 사진 찍으러 가야 되나 싶었는데 이거 언제 찍었어? 그래서 내가 7월 말에 찍었는데요 라고 하니까 그러면 아휴 하면서 그냥 오케이 됐어. 그 사람 아휴 하더라고. 그래서 네 했는데 그래 인터뷰 라인에 쓰라고 하더라고. 인터뷰 라인에 섰지. 서서 했는데 전부 다 어떤 사람은 뭐 통과했는데 어떤 사람은 필 안돼 많았어. 그래서 내가 뭐지? 그리고 어떤 한국 아줌마 이제 통역해주는 사람도 있었고 너무 오래 걸렸는데 그 아줌마는 플라이트 정보를 몰라가지고 플라이트 정보를 몰라서 남편이 해줬는데요 라고 하니까 그런 거 문제 되게 많았어. 나도 좀 걱정은 했는데 그래도 우리가 얘기했잖아? 솔직하게 얘기하면 된다고. 그래서 솔직하게 그래서 내 할 때가 됐어. 그래서 영어로 할까요? 라고 물어보더라고. 아니요 한국어 해주세요. 혹시나 영어도 준비했지만 혹시나 내가 실수하면 안 되잖아. 내가 못 알아듣거나. 내가 이제 딱 도착하자마자 이거를 이제 서류를 우리가 준비했는 서류를 이제 준비를 했거든. 지금 어디 갈 거야? 계획 있어? 물었어. 계획표를 찾았어. 플랜 계획표. 제가 준비를 했는데 이거 필요 없대. 말로 얘기해래. 필요 없대. 안 봐도 된다. 그게 설명했지. 얘기하고 오케이 하면서 근데 너 지금 뭐 일 뭐 해? 그래서 저는 일 안 하고요 하면서 남편은 그리고 지금 모아놨는 돈이 땀 이렇게 꺼내서 더 이건 필요 없대. 안 봐도 된대. 소리 막 꺼내가지고 우리가 준비했잖아. 그래? 그러니까 너 집에 있어? 타이핑 설명하느라고 타이핑 그리고 그러면 너 유튜브로 지금 여기 온 거야? 갈 거야? 하면서 유튜브 때문에 가는 거야? 하면서 너 비자 나올 거야? 끝. 많은 질문 안 했어. 근데 이게 지금 내가 얘기했는 게 다야. 이게 다고 다른 사람 짐은 진짜 길었는데 그냥 너 나올 거야. 응, 끝.
여보,
응.
오늘 아침에 이미 왔어. 깜짝 놀랐어.
너무 놀랐어. 어제 비자 인터뷰를 오후에 했었는데 오늘 아침 9시에 우편물이 왔어요. 아 진짜 깜짝 놀랐어요. 이렇게 너무 빨라가지고 이게 24시간도 안 지났는데 어떻게 이렇게 빨리 오는지.
진짜 빨라.
그렇지.
먹어볼게요.
데이빗이 이제 택배인 줄 알고 갔는데
여보,
비자였어. 응. 남편 더 좋아하네.
So we were incredibly lucky, I think, because the interview was yesterday, Monday. And on Friday, we double checked the website on what we needed to bring. And I'm glad we did early enough because we had to go to the bank. We had to go to the local district office to get some documents that would help with the interview. These are definitely here some really important tips and advice that we definitely recommend you do or you might get denied. Because again, Chloe witnessed several people get denied for things that we almost didn't do. So here are some really important tips. One tip is to gather everything in a pack. Everything. Because I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to go into the embassy until we were at the door. The guy was like, no, she goes in, you stay out. And I was like, what? Wait, here, you need this and you need this. I think that's everything. What else do you need? And so she went in, and later when I was waiting at the cafe, I realized I didn't give her the photo. Luckily, one of the printouts that we did had a good enough quality photo that they accepted it. Thank goodness.
맞아.
So put everything in the pack. That's tip number 1. Quick tip number 2. Check out the interview questions ahead of time. You'll find a bunch of information online of what they'll ask you, but generically, they're just trying to make sure that you're not going to be someone that's going to immigrate illegally or have any background that they don't want to have, such as a criminal record, and you need to bring documentations for proof. So answer your questions honestly because you're going to get nervous and you're going to screw up. And Chloe saw that with someone else. They got really nervous because their husband couldn't get in, just like me. And they couldn't answer the questions well enough. I don't know exactly what happened, but they got denied. The other thing too is documents. Check the website on what you need to bring. They don't have a specific list because everyone's situation is different, but basically the documents are a way to prove that one, you can afford your trip. So any way to show that you have any money or income through any documents. So your bank account statements, what job you have, that kind of stuff. The other thing is, can you prove that your trip to the US is temporary? So what will make you go back to, in this case, Korea for Chloe or leave the US? So we were showing documentations that we have property here, that we have family here, things to be like, hey, we're not gonna go to US and never leave. In our case, we already purchased plane tickets, so we had proof that we had a ticket leaving the US. Tip number 4, call the embassy because information online is a little bit scattered and overwhelming. So if you can't figure things out or you have questions because the website's not clear, call the embassy. Someone will definitely help you out, and that helped me immensely. Now, it's not perfect, so double check things. Tip number 5, the best website, ustraveldocs.com. The embassy person told me to go there. It doesn't show up on Google searches right away. I found it eventually once I changed my search terms, but that's the website you go because it gives you all the step-by-step instructions on what you need to do for your visa, and it has most of the information, but not everything, because I found out that the B2 tourist visa we applied for Chloe, I didn't see the information that was super important for us because we're gonna go for more than 3 months. And the typical visa waiver program is only good for 90 days and you can't renew that. And you can't just go to Canada and back. They won't let you do that. So I was like, okay, what do we do? So we're looking at green cards because I didn't know that the B2 visa is good for 10 years, up to 6 months per visit, 6 months within a year, and multiple entries. So that means we do this visa once. Now we can go to the US for the next 10 years with Chloe and up to 6 months. So really good. Another really important tip is try to do these visas as early as you can. I didn't know a lot of this at the time, but we started the process 2 months before our planned trip, which I felt was plenty of time. The website showed that interviews were available 2.5 weeks from the date I was looking at them. So I was like, okay, cool. And it looks like in Korea, it takes maybe 2 to 3 weeks to get your visa in the mail. But that didn't work out the way I expected. So did the application, even though the website said availability 2.5 weeks from today, there was nothing for me to choose until like end of September, which was already past the planned time that we wanted to go to the US. So again, I called the embassy, asked like what we can do. So here are 2 quick tips. 1, check if you can apply for emergency interviews. This really works for people like students that are going to the US for school. Then you can apply to do an interview earlier. They reserve extra time for those people. We didn't qualify, so I didn't want to do that. But the other tips that she gave me that was really helpful, because that's how we got our interview much earlier, was that you can check and see if there's cancellations. So check a couple of times a day. She basically said if you log in too much, then the activity might be suspicious and your account could be restricted, and you don't want that to happen. So that's all I did. Every time I woke up, I checked. In the evening after dinner, I checked. And one of those times within the week, I got lucky. An appointment showed up. So everything is fine and we can now go to US. And the other thing of why like you should plan way ahead is also when you get your visas. I think we were super duper lucky because everything I checked out, every person I asked, the fastest it would have been was a week after the interview if you get approved. But it can take up to a month. Now that's here in Korea. It's gonna be different for different countries. So those are all the tips that can help you save a bunch of time because it's really time consuming. So look forward to our trip to the US and all the videos and experiences Chloe's gonna have because I'm really excited. She's been to the US, but it's a big country. She's right there. All right, we'll see you in the US. Bye.